Hey, how you doing? How you doing today?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jeff. How you feeling today? Yeah, welcome.
Always good, brother. Always great.
That's great to hear
Thank you.
that. Yep, for the people who are just tuning in, we have the great Jeff Fenech joining us all the way from Australia. So I see the background, it looks beautiful. So we'll start right there. How did you get started
Um,
in boxing?
uh, I boxed. I never boxed in my life. When I was about 17, I went to a youth club and I met a trainer by the name of Johnny Lewis. I was just standing there watching, and he talked about somebody doing some sparring, and was with a young friend of mine who was a football player as well as me, and I said that I would spar him. So we had a spar, and he said I was pretty good to come back. So yeah, I went back the next day, and yeah, everything just fell into place. I was very, very lucky. I went to the Olympics. I went to the World Cup, traveled the world as an amateur, and then turned professional.
Yeah, you had a fantastic career, and it's something you should really be proud of. And one experience that I wanted to get from you is traveling from Australia to the Las Vegas fight for that experience with Miss Nelson. How was that the first time around?
And I was pretty. It was pretty dramatic for us. Well, they said we could go there they would pay for like 7 to 10 days. I wanted to do it properly, so I thought that I needed to be there for 6 or 7 weeks. So 7 weeks, trained really, really hard, and that Vegas was beautiful. I didn't stay on the strip. I stayed away from the strip. I stayed in a little hotel. That was just a little private hotel. That was nothing special, but it was just a great little camp for us. We had a great 7 weeks in Vegas prior to that fight.
Yeah, that was a big experience because I don't know if you knew this, but you had some big celebrities there: Michael Jordan, Demi Moore. It was a big, big venue. You fighting in Vegas. What did you think about the reception of people coming out to see you?
No, that was pretty amazing. But like I said, none of that bothered me. I was there to do a job, and I was only there to fight. When it's finished and you look at the people in the crowd, it's pretty good. But when you're fighting, none of that bothers me. They're all oblivious to me. I was blind to all that stuff. I just went there to do a job and just try to do the best I could.
Yeah, and you did great. And in my opinion, I felt as if you won that first fight with a Zuma. And one of the things I did notice that you did a lot in that fight was fight in the corner. Do you like fighting in the corner?
Well, if that's where I put him, and that was where I was landing punches. Of course, I was going to stay there. And one of these guys, people land a few punches and they stop and they step back. My style is, if you're punching somebody, continue to punch them. So, it was, the fight was, he was in the corner or against the ropes for, maybe 90% of the fight. So, it was, that's how I like to fight. That's where I like to have my opponents. And that was my plan.
Yeah, and you went it to perfection. And Azuma is a person that you're known for fighting a trilogy. Talk about the fact that what was about Azuma that made you want to fight him so many times?
Oh no, look, the first fight, I don't care what anybody thinks. I think I might have won. I won the fight, no problem. If you get 10 million people to watch it, 9,900,000 are going to say I won, And so it's pretty simple. But like I said, he was just a great fighter, one of the greatest fighters in the history of boxing, one of maybe the greatest African fighter ever. So he's a super champion. And look, the second fight, for him to turn it around the way he done, to go home and to come back and think that he could beat me was a major achievement. It says what a great human he is, what a great fighter he is. And what a person, who believes in himself, because nobody thought he could beat me. I didn't think he could beat me. Maybe that's part of the reason why I was defeated, because I went from being this guy who thought I had to work really hard to beat this guy to thinking, wow, I just beat him 12 rounds convincingly. This will be the start again. It'll be round 13, 14, 15, and I thought I'd finish him. But he had news. He went back home, he trained, he watched the video, and he studied me very, very well. And he came back out and fought the perfect fight.
Yeah, that's definitely a great interesting point. Is that something that you would tell some of the fighters today, that if you do fight someone again, don't believe that it can go the same way it went the first time around?
Oh, definitely so. And I didn't even watch a video of the first fight. I just thought I was going to beat him. I just thought that my style he couldn't handle, which I always believed. But yeah, he went back and he done things to make sure that he could overcome what I was doing. He looked at the things that he could do better than he did in the first fight. And me, like I said, I thought I was going to win. So where I'd be doing things regularly, where I'd never go out prior to the fight, I was doing public appearances. I had my own clothing line. I was doing appearances in all the shops around Melbourne prior to the fight. So yeah, look, although I thought I was going to win, I still trained great. I wasn't that same hungry guy that he fought the first fight.
Yeah, and things did change the second fight. How was it fighting in front of your home crowd at the second fight, the atmosphere for you?
No, it was amazing. I mean, like the whole build up was amazing. But like I said, again, did I get carried away with the build up? Yeah, I did. They were talking to me about doing my movie, my life story straight after the fight. Everybody thought I was going to win. Like I said, we were treated like royalty in Melbourne. Everywhere we went, we didn't pay for no food, everything, for nothing. So, that sometimes you got to teach these people that fame and fortune changes everybody. Success changes everybody, especially if you've had too much. Me coming from nothing to all of a sudden being this huge hero. Did I handle it properly? Definitely not. Did I? Yeah, definitely not. I got carried away. Did I change? I told people during my life, no, success will never change me. Of course it changed me. Yeah, it changed me automatically. I thought I was bigger and better than everybody else. Like I said, I walk in a restaurant, you don't pay for nothing, you get in a taxi, you get a free ride around where you so yeah, my life had changed. My hunger had changed. It had disappeared. That guy that was up at 5 a.m. every morning, woke up at 6:30 and said, I'm still going to run it. I'm still doing my work, but that hunger wasn't there. So look, and again, all credit to Azuma Nelson because he'd been to the top of the tree before and he'd lost and he'd come back all the time. He's an absolute champion.
No, you're right. And you are too. You're both warriors in the ring. And that's some great advice. You have somebody like George Kambosos who just got, the unified belts. What advice would you give to the young guys nowadays, even with social media, that, hey, if you get success, stay hungry?
Yeah, tell him this. 6 months ago, he was the hunter. Now he's the hunted. It's much better being the hunter than being hunted. So he's got, like I said, look, and George's done an amazing job. And I'm the first to say I did not think he could do it. He proved me wrong. He proved the world wrong. But now, listen, winning one fight's nothing. Winning one fight's easy. It's longevity. It's about staying champion for periods of time. It's about beating people. It's So look, George has got a long way to go. I mean, he's done something that's amazing, and let's just hope that he can continue to do more amazing things. Which I'm sure. Look, he's a hungry kid. He's a very, very down to earth kid, and just hope he can do better.
Yeah, that's great advice. Definitely coming from you. And one of the aspects that you done great in the ring was cut off the ring, and a lot of fighters nowadays have trouble with that. What is some of your advice to people who want to know how to cut off a ring from you?
Yeah, it's just something that I was very, very good at. I just knew exactly where to be. I knew the distance. I would always, make my opponent go to a certain area and then know that he had nowhere else to go. So I had an easy option. He's either going to walk into this punch or he's going to walk into that punch because I was right there for it. But like I said, it's all about timing and positioning yourself. And look, I think that was one of my real big assets. I was very, very good at cutting the ring off, but I was also a good volume puncher where I never stopped punching. So that certainly helped.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. You're a great puncher. And in fact, to the point where you got a chance to train Mike Tyson. Explain that experience of training Mike Tyson.
Yeah, most of the greatest experience I've had in the sport, maybe even better than me winning my world titles. Having that association with Mike, I still have today, is pretty amazing. But training him and even though it was at the end of his career, just seeing the input and the output that he has on life in general was pretty crazy. There were times I thought I'd never see him again because I thought that he wouldn't be around for a long time. And there were times where went over to Vegas and visited him, and I thought, wow, I'm going to go home. I'm never going to see my friend again because he was so wild. And then we look at him today, 20 years later, and he's turned his life around. He's turned the world around. He's doing some amazing things. He's showing people that you can be rock bottom and you can rise to the top of the mountain again if you're prepared to roll your sleeves up, work hard, and respect yourself, respect the people around you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's great advice. And Mike Tyson, they're talking now that he might fight a Jake Paul. How do you think Mike might do in a fight against Jake Paul?
Yeah, well, I was just over there with him a couple of months ago, and they were talking about him doing one of those exhibitions with Lennox Lewis, and with Jake Paul, all I can say is Jake better not get hit, or else when look at it, and Jake Paul's done an amazing job. I take my hat off to him, and I love what he's doing for the sport. But like I said, getting hit by Mike Tyson is not, getting hit by a Woodley or any of those guys.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. You're gonna feel it. You get hit by Mike Tyson. That's right.
I held the pads for him, and there were a few occasions where he missed and hit me on the shoulder and arm where I had bruises for weeks. So it's a huge difference. And look, like I said, I was over there with him, and I see that he's got that fire in his eye, and he loves doing what he's doing at the moment. He loves people enjoying what he's doing. He loves being a different Mike Tyson. Before, he thought everybody hated him and there was nothing in life but to be the most hated guy in the world. Now he's most probably one of the most loved guys in the world, and people love what he's doing, and I do. So I think it's a huge bonus. And look, I've got to tell you that one of the main causes of that is he's got an amazing wife, Kiki, and her family are amazing. And I mean, having good people around you always set the standard. If you're around cows, you're a cow. If you're around dogs, you'll get fleas. If you're around good people, you'll shine as a good person. And he's around some beautiful people at the moment, and God bless him for that.
No, absolutely. You got to be around great people in boxing to keep you grounded. And, one of the great things about you having such a successful career is that it led to you becoming to the International Hall of Fame. Talk about the honor of being bestowed that.
Yeah, for me, again, although that's a huge deal, I think my biggest achievement in boxing is, if I see Evander Holyfield or if I see Mike Tyson or Roberto Duran, they respect me. And when your peers respect you, that's when you know you made it. When you get off a plane or you go somewhere and people who have been great at a sport shake your hand and admire you and tell you that you're a great, that's when you know you're a great. I mean, these guys that are in a room and pick you out to be a Hall of Famer, look, that's great. But when a Roberto Duran gives you a cuddle and says you can fight, or when Mike Tyson says you're his favourite fighter, or when Evander Holyfield says that, then you've done something right in the sport now. Yeah, they don't bullshit. They just call it the way it is. And so look, I said, getting the World Hall of Fame, for me was an amazing achievement. Of course, it made Australia proud. It made my family proud. But like I said, for me, it's a great achievement. Just the ring. I mean, I'm not into these belts. My belts mean nothing to me. My rings mean nothing to me. It's my legacy. It's myself. It's me as a person that means something to me. It's how people treat me as a person and accept me as a person, accept me as a fighter. That's when I know I've achieved and I've done what I've had to do. And like I said, longevity is everything. I mean, here with me, I had 28 amateur fights. I went to the Olympic Games. I should have won a medal. I got robbed. In my 7th fight, I was world champion. In under 20 fights, in under 22 fights, I fought for 10 world titles. So that's when I know what I've done. I worked really hard to achieve what I achieved. And my biggest achievement is I've done it with 2 broken hands. I fought 90% of my fights with either one hand broken or both. And I never complain. I've never put that as an excuse. So I make no excuses because I love what I've done.
Yeah, and you're a remarkable story that you've had such a tough career, both inside and outside the ring. Tell people how you've mentally focused and stay out of all the stuff on the side and just went ahead and just did what you wanted to do in the ring.
Yeah, just think of this, like prior to me fighting for my 3rd world title, I'd broken my hand. I couldn't train for like a week and a half. I couldn't punch. But I still got out there and done what I had to do against one of the toughest fighters in the world, in Victor Callejas. When I fought Marcus Villasana, who WBC featherweight champion, and I had 2 broken hands, prior to the fight, I knew what I was going to go through, but that's the biggest thing. I try to tell everybody in life, the one most important word to me is not heart. Everything comes from your head. this controls everything. If you've got a good mental preparation, and that's the word I want to say, is preparation. So if you're prepared properly and you know what you're getting yourself into, you'll be right. You're ready for it. So I tell everybody, people say people had a big heart. No. Our hearts are all the same size. It's this thing up here. This tells the heart to keep going. This tells it to stop. So if you're mentally prepared and you know you've mentally done the work, you've been there before, then you'll succeed. Even if you don't succeed and you do what you know the best that you knew you could do, then you're happy. And that's how I've always been in my life. I've always done the best that I could do under the circumstances, and that comes from here. None of it comes from here. It's all from the head. First from the head, then from the heart.
Yeah, that's great advice there. And with the pictures, the photos behind you, are those some of the things that you've accumulated throughout your career, or just some of the things that moments that mean them out to you?
Well, at the moment, I just finished training a beautiful young girl who I train. Her name's Kate, and we just finished, Kate McLaren, we just finished doing a training session. This is my gym. And one second, I'll show you a few photos. But this is just in my gym. That's Kate.
Hi, how you doing, Kate?
So my photo, me and Mike up there. It's just so this is my gym. This is my little gym where I do a lot of work with all my boxers. There's me fighting the greatest Zuma Nelson, of course. Van Holyfield, Roy Jones. Yeah, so it's just my favourite fighter of all time, of course, Roberto Duran. So this is just my gym, and I'm just sitting here and talking to you, and some photos in the background. But like I said, very, very blessed to travel the world and met some amazing people. Like I said, it's all about respect, and that's how I judge how you are, or how if your success and your failures is very, very respected. I mean, look, I think that because back in the days nobody would unify. I fought for the best belt in the world, and I think the WBC is proven to be, the mecca of world boxing. And, Mauricio Sulaiman, his father, Jose, two of the most beautiful people in the world. When Jose Sulaiman, if you were just a little champion from Africa, Zuma Nelson, or if you were a little champion from Australia, Jeff Fenech, we were all treated the same. Jose Sulaiman had an amazing gift of making all us champions feel equal.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. He was a great boxer too. And the person who set up this interview, I want to thank them, Glenn Earnshaw. He wanted to hopefully get a couple of signed photos from you, if that would be okay.
It's not a problem.
Okay.
You've got my stuff, you'll send them. I'll send them to you guys. Express post will be coming in the next few days. Just tell me where to send them. My wife will get it done, and we'll get them to you ASAP.
Well, we appreciate that, and definitely appreciate your time, and hope you continue to do what you're doing, great things in boxing and in and out of the ring. Stay safe out there, and we really appreciate you. That's Jeff Fenech.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure being on. And if you ever need me for anything, just a phone call away. I got my number now, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jeff. God bless you. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Thank you too.
Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.